Today I'm going to be doing a handheld video game collection. So I'm going to just show you all the handheld video games that I currently have. And I'm going to cover a few platforms such as Nintendo DS, Game Boy Color, and then Game Boy, and then Game Boy Advance. I've been very intentional with my collection, and I've been collecting for about 7 years now. So I've accumulated quite a bit, but not a lot compared to other people. Anyway, let's get into the video. So to start, I'm going to show you some empty Game Boy Color cases and then some empty Nintendo DS cases. And I just have these as backups for if I get some loose cartridges of the DS games. Sometimes they're a lot cheaper if you just buy the loose cartridge. And then these are for the Game Boy Color or Game Boy. Got a bunch of those though. Then I have a backup Nintendo DS battery, and it comes with a little screwdriver. But just wanted to show that. Something more interesting than that are these link cables for the Game Boy Color. And I really like these ones a lot because they have several attachments on that one. And I don't remember the brand of it, but let me look. This one is Nyko. I'm not sure if you could see that, but that one's Nyko. And this one is Pelican. These are pretty good brands too for the aftermarket link cables. But I have 2 of those just because you never know if you're going to be able to trade Pokemon with anybody. So first I have this Game Boy Color Powerpuff Girls video game. It's complete in box. It's called Bad Mojo Jojo, and it was made by BAM, it looks like. But I'm going to open it just so you can see it. And this is the back of it, by the way. And it's been opened already, so I'm going to be very gentle with this because I want to make sure it's safe. It comes with a Nintendo ad, a manual, and then a video game manual. And it's brand new. And this is how the game looks. And the bag was already open, so I took it out of there too, and this is what it looks like. Sorry if you hear a dog in the background. The next game that I have is Pamela Anderson's VIP, and it's a movie video game. If you love Pamela Anderson, especially from this era, you're going to love that. And that's what the back of the box looks like. And then I'm going to open in this one as well. This is what it looks like when you open it. You have to gently pull this to get the game out. And then all the inserts. And it comes with this insert right here. It's like a warranty registry card. Same kind of pamphlet. And then the manual for the game. And that's what the game looks like. And I'm not going to do any gameplay for these because that would take me a long time. And this is more like a show and tell video, I guess. Just to show what I have in my collection. And if you want to see any specific videos, just let me know and I'll make a gameplay video for it. I'm going to show a couple more box games. And this is Pokemon White version. It's in a plastic case as well, just to protect it. And that's what the back looks like. And that's what it looks like out of the case. And then there's the game and the manual. Next, I have Pokemon Pearl. And I love this one because you can play as Chimchar. And that is the back. And that is what the inside looks like with the manual and the game. Next, I have another title called Silverlicious. It was just a cute game. And that's what the inside looks like. The next game I have is The Sims 2 for Nintendo DS. And that's what the inside of the video game looks like with the manual and the video game itself. And this one has a lot of memories. I love this one so much. I remember growing up in the Midwest playing that game. And then the next game that I have is Mario Kart DS. And this one is a lot of fun. There's a lot of good maps that came out of this one. And that's what the inside of the game looks like with the manual and the game itself. One of my favorite games for the Nintendo DS is this Animal Crossing Wild World. I think this is the best version of Animal Crossing because it's like the first game, but on a DS, and it's improved with the motion around the world. It's hard to explain if you haven't played it, but I would definitely recommend this one. And that's what the back of it looks like. And then this is what the inside looks like with the manual and the game. I love the artwork so much. But then this other game, I don't have the manual to it, but it's really expensive, so I couldn't really find a complete copy. But I love Coraline. That's one of my favorite movies. Moving from Michigan to Oregon, I can definitely relate to Coraline a lot. This is one of my favorite games for the DS just because I love Coraline. And it's not bad, actually. I really like this version. And this is what the inside looks like. It's just the game and this little DS booklet, but I don't have the manual. But I'm very grateful to have this because Coraline is everything. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. The last thing I'm going to be showing are my loose DS games. And I don't have very many DS games in general, so I'm still collecting for it. But I do have a lot of other games for different platforms. So the two that I have starting with are Little's Pet Shop and this other game called LOL. I don't know, I just thought it looked cute, so I bought it. And then the last two games I have are Super Princess Peach and then Legendary Starfy. And these two games are really good for the DS, especially Super Princess Peach, but this one's really good too. And I love that Peach got her own game where she could star in. The first Game Boy game I have is Mickey's Dangerous Chase, and this one can be played on the Super Nintendo. The next game I have is Cats, and it's basically like a pet game where you interact with the cat, kind of like Tamagotchi. It's kind of seems like a rip on that, but it's a really good game. And I just love the Game Boy Color version. I'm not sure if this is the first version of the Cats games, because I know they have the DS versions, but I just prefer the Game Boy Color version. And then, of course, you can't get cats without getting dogs, and I really like this game too. It's a similar game to Cats, but I love this game so much. You're just interacting with the dog, and I'm pretty sure you can choose the breed or you can pick it eventually, but this game is just fun, especially for kids. The next game that I have is Pokemon Yellow, and this game is very fun, doesn't need very much of an introduction, but I love this game, and I think that it's a good game to put in your collection if you don't mind whiny Pikachu. I do love Pikachu, and I love this artwork so much. This game is a must-have if you're collecting any of the original Pokemon games. Since I'm showing Pokemon games anyway, I'm going to show Pokemon Gold. This game is a lot of fun. It's actually my favorite Game Boy Color game. One of them, actually. Not my absolute favorite. I'm going to save that for last. But this game is so much fun. And I love Generation 2. I love Generation 2. It's probably my favorite generation. I do like 4 and 3 also. I just love Pokemon, but this game is definitely one that I would suggest if you had to choose any of them on the Game Boy or Game Boy Color platforms. And then last for my Game Boy Pokemon games, I have Pokemon Red. And this one is pretty fun. It's basically like the Pokemon Yellow, just without Pikachu complaining about everything. But I love this game, and I think it's a good version of the older Pokemon games, and I would definitely recommend it. Any of these old Pokemon games really are good. Next, I have Bugs Life, and I love this game, and there's a lot of good versions of this game on the PS1 and the Nintendo 64, but I really like the Game Boy game, and I think I'm pretty sure I got it for pretty cheap, so that's why I have it, but I'm glad that I do. The next game that I have, and it's a little busted, but I don't mind that. It's called Casper, and it's for the Game Boy Color. The next game I have is Kelly Club. It's basically like Barbie's little sister, and it's just a game where you go around and interact with the world. There's some bunnies and other things you can do in the side quests, but it's a cute game, and it's not too expensive. And I think I got it for like $2 back in the day. Now I'm getting into some interesting titles, other than the Pokemon, of course. The next one I have is Spanky's Quest, and this is for the Game Boy. They also have a Super Nintendo version. I like this game, and I got it for really cheap. And this was probably like almost 10 years ago now. But I just love this game. You're basically the little monkey and you have to bounce these balls to hit the other character. The next game I have is Buffy the Vampire Slayer for Game Boy Color. And this game is a lot of fun. It's just like your side-scrolling platformer. It's kind of a mouthful. But it's a lot of fun and you can't go wrong with Buffy. The next game I have is Bubble Ghost for Game Boy. And this game is a lot of fun. You basically blow the bubble around the whole level and try not to get the bubble popped. The next game I have is Gargoyles for Game Boy. And this game is basically like Demon's Crest, which I also have for the Super Nintendo. But it's just one of 3 games they had in the series. And this one is a lot of fun. It's basically a side-scrolling platformer, except for you're a demon. And Firebrand is a really cool character. I would definitely recommend any of the demon games like Demon's Crest, Gargoyles Quest. I think it's 1 and 2. The next game I have is Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, and this game is really fun. Once again, a side-scrolling platformer. I honestly need to play this one a little bit more. I actually might play it on my Super Game Boy. That way you guys can watch it too. This is definitely a must-have, and I'm really glad to have that in my collection. Next game I have is Chicken Run. This one's pretty fun. It's not one that I played most often, but I do love Chicken Run, so I had to have that. The next game that I have is Bubble Bobble. And it's made by Taito. And I don't know, I'm not saying every single company that makes each game, but I love Taito. This game is so much fun. It's super adorable, and I definitely would recommend this game. The next game I have is Zubumufu, Playtime in Zubumu Land. That's kind of hard to say. It's pretty fun. You have to eat a bunch of blueberries in order to not die. One of my favorite developers for the Game Boy Color games was WayForward, and I just love all of their video games, and I believe that is one of them too, actually. Mickey's Dangerous Chase. There you go. Now you can see it. But I'm going to start showing you some of the other games I have. The first one I have is Extreme Sports. This one's really fun. You get to choose between the boy or the girl, and you just do all these different sports, and like, I'm pretty sure it's snowboarding and something like that. Oh, roller skating. There's a lot of different things. I haven't played it too much, but I love this game. It's just very well made, and I think WayForward did a really good job with the Game Boy Color technology. And they actually made the game Shantae, which I'm not going to be purchasing probably because it's so expensive. But if you're interested, go ahead and look up WayForward as a production company for the Game Boy Color, and you'll come across a lot of good titles. The next 2 games I want to show you are the Sabrina games. WayForward also made these. These are really good games. These games are based off of the animated series, which I actually have a DVD for. The animated series is really cool. If you have kids, definitely let them watch that. These games are so much fun. They're platformers, side-scrolling platformers. I can't tell you how much I love these games. I play them a lot, and they're really good. And I just love the characters. And then my favorite game that I have for the Game Boy Color is Wendy Every Which Way. And it's also made by WayForward. This one's a rarer title, and it is a little more expensive, but I did buy it a few years ago, or probably around 2020, when it was a little cheaper. This is my absolute favorite Game Boy Color game. It is relatively short, but it's really good gameplay. And WayForward just made such good sprite details, and it looks really good. I love Wendy. She's Wendy the Good Little Witch, and I heard that they were going to be making a cartoon off of this game, but I'm not 100% sure if that's true. I actually do have a gameplay of this on my channel. It's an older video, so it may be a little shaky. There is no save, so it's just the passwords, but if you have a Game Boy Advance, there are some unlockable levels as well. There's only one boss fight, which is kind of a bummer, but overall, this game is very cute and adorable, and it's just my favorite. That's all my Game Boy Color games, but I'm going to show you my Game Boy Color itself. It's pretty old school. It's that see-through atomic purple one, and I have a worm light. Then I have a pelican magnifier. That way you can see. And I did mod the screen itself because I just really like Pokemon. I know that kind of makes it not as original. That's the back of it. And I actually modded it myself and cleaned it out. And I can always do a tutorial on how to do that too if you want to see how to clean and open up your Game Boy Color. The next console I'm going to be going through is Game Boy Advance. And this is my pearl pink Game Boy Advance. It's the AGS 101, so it has that backlight. And you can play Game Boy Advance games in here, Game Boy, and then Game Boy Color. And that's what it looks like. And I know I need to charge it. And it literally died as soon as I said that. So I'm charging it as we speak. Next, I'm going to be showing you all my Game Boy Advance games. And I keep them in this baggie. And I do have a lot of these Game Boy Advance video cartridges. And this one is Dora the Explorer. And it's volume 1. And it actually has a couple episodes of Dora the Explorer on there. The next one I have is Fairly Odd Parents. And I believe this is volume 2. I needed to get volume 1 still. The next video cartridge I have is All Grown Up. And that's volume 1. The next video cartridge I have is Nickelodeon Nicktoons Collection Volume 1. And I believe, yep, right there. I have volume 2 as well. So I have volume 1 and volume 2, and those are some Nickelodeon episodes. I believe there's some SpongeBob episodes on there too, which I love SpongeBob. And then I have the Cartoon Network Special Edition video cartridge, and that has some Cartoon Network episodes. And then a rare one that I have is the Proud Family, and I love the Proud Family. I think it was a great show, and I really enjoy this cartridge a lot. And it's volume 1. There's only one volume released of a lot of these. But I really like this one. It's a little expensive, but I would definitely recommend it. And then I have Shrek 2 for Game Boy Advance Video. And this is actually the full movie of Shrek 2. The one thing I guess I should have mentioned before showing you all these is that these do run at a slower frame rate in general, all these video cartridges. That's just what they had to do to get it to run on a Game Boy Advance. You can actually watch these on the DS too if they have the little Game Boy Advance thing on them, like the original DS's. Anyway, though, I have Shrek 2. And for the last of my Game Boy Advance video cartridges, I have Shrek 1 and then Shark Tale. It's the dual cartridge, so it's the biggest. It has the biggest amount of data on it, I think, for all of the Game Boy Advance cartridges, but it has the full Shrek movie, Shrek 1, and then the full Shark Tale movie. Now I'm going to get into the games that I have instead of the video cartridges, but obviously you can tell that I really like those, and I plan on getting more of them. And I have Lilo and Stitch 2 on here. This one's really good. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's a side-scrolling platformer, basically, but a little more detailed than that. But I would definitely recommend this one. It's a lot of fun, and it's really cheap. I'm pretty sure it still is pretty cheap. Then I have Powerpuff Girls, Mojo Jojo. This one's a lot of fun, too. It's not as fun as Stitch, but I do like it because it's Powerpuff Girls. Then I have Santa Claus Saves the Earth. This is just fun for the holidays. And I just thought it was a funny title when I found it, so I had to get it. Then I have Super Monkey Ball Junior, and this one's a lot of fun. You kind of have to make the monkeys go from side to side to get into the right area. It's your traditional monkey ball, just on a Game Boy Advance cartridge. I have The Sims Busted Out for the Game Boy Advance. I did a gameplay of this one, actually. This is pretty fun because it feels like you're playing actual Sims, but just on a Game Boy Advance. And then I got Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Game Boy Advance. This one's a lot of fun, too. The next one I have is Spirits and Spells. And this one's a lot of fun. I love this game. And there is a GameCube version, and I think a PlayStation 2 version. Those are a lot more expensive, but which is why I got this one. And I don't have a PlayStation 2, but I do have a GameCube. But I really actually prefer this one. I think this is a really good game. It's a side scroller, but the detail is really good. And you play as 2 different characters, and they're dressed up as Halloween characters. And it's just a really good game for that time of year and just in general. It is difficult, though, so I would definitely keep that in mind, but would absolutely recommend this 100%. Then I have Golden Sun. This one's a lot of fun, too. I don't have the second one, but I do like this game. It's like an open world exploring kind of game, and I actually really like it. It's a lot of fun. It almost reminds me of Earthbound in a way, but I've never played Earthbound, just seen the gameplay, but it looks like an updated version of that. But it's kind of hard to explain. I need to play more of it. And this is the last game I have. It's Pokemon Sapphire version. It's Pokemon Sapphire, and it's for the Game Boy Advance. And I actually really like this game. I like that it's Generation 3. If you notice, I have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So I have the first 4 generations. Then I have my Nintendo DS Lite in ice blue. This is what it looks like turned on. Oh yeah, there's nothing in there. Anyway, though, that's that. And that's what the back looks like. And then I have the original chunky DS. And that's my curtain, if you can see it. And this is in cobalt blue. It's the fat one, though, the fat DS. In its original glory. And here's a side-by-side comparison. Little different. So that's going to be the end of my video. Thank you for watching. I enjoyed going through all of my handheld stuff, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you didn't, then that's okay. There's a lot of other videos out there that are enjoyable. But I'm going to play some of these games for you and show you some of the video cartridges. And I will see you in the next one, though. Thank you so much for watching, and welcome to all the new people. And if there's anything you want me to play, let me know.